Welcome everyone to another beautiful day here in Jurassic World from beautiful Isla Nublar. I'm your host HumpieDouglas, and this is the 5 Deaths Fighting League. Today is Season 1, Week 2 of the FDFL, and we have the Isla Nublar Rockets versus the Isla Sorna Knights. Before we get started with today's event, let's take a quick look at some highlights from Season 1, Week 1, the Isla Muerta Tornadoes versus Dr. Wu's Flying Circus. Great Popsicle of Dr. Wu's Flying Circus started things off with a KO against Polynomial Embolism, followed by a second KO by Ray Ray, and then a third KO by Baby Fishmouth. Sadistic Steve Russell tried to get things going for the Tornadoes with a KO against JR, but it wasn't enough. In the end, Fish Taco of Dr. Wu's Flying Circus secured the win with a KO against Jellybean. The current league standings have Dr. Wu's Flying Circus in first place, followed by the Tornadoes. We'll see today if either the Rockets or the Knights have what it takes to knock the Flying Circus out of first. Today's lineup has some exciting matchups, and we also have two more dinos that made their first appearance in the 2018 Frontier Dino Royale competition. Now let's head on over to the Dino Dome and get things started. Both teams seem to be pretty evenly matched in the team averages. That can make this a very close match in the end. Up first in the lightweight class, we have Fruit Snacks versus Rocco. Rocco does have a 45-point lead in the attack stats over Fruit Snacks, so this may not end well for the Rockets.
Fruit Snacks has entered the arena.
Here's Fruit Snacks, ready to get things started off for the Rockets.
Rocco has entered the arena.
Rocco looks like he's pretty eager to lead the opening charge for the Knights. Rocco lunges straight in for a bite to the neck. Rocco comes in for another bite to the neck. Fruit Snacks tries to retaliate, but is deflected a second time. Split in the eyes is a desperate move by Fruit Snacks, but Rocco just seems to shake it off. Rocco tries for another hit, but Fruit Snacks gets him on the shoulder. Rocco goes in for another body shot. Fruit Snacks looks a little stunned here. Looks like Rocco is setting up for the takedown. And there it is.
Has been defeated. Rocco is the winner.
And Rocco takes the first KO for the Knights. Rocco's victory has put the Knights on the board. It's a good looking start for the Knights today. Next up, we have Skittles versus Cherry Chapstick. Both dinos seem pretty evenly matched in the attack numbers, but Cherry Chapstick has a 30-point advantage in defense, and that gives Cherry Chapstick a serious advantage in this fight.
Skittles has entered the arena.
Skittles looks ready to fight.
Cherry Chapstick has entered the arena.
And Cherry Chapstick is out on the field, ready to continue the charge for the Knights. Skittles starts things off with a poisonous bite and quickly jumps back out of reach of Cherry Chapstick. Cherry Chapstick lands a solid blow to the face. And Cherry Chapstick comes in for another blow to the face. Looks like things may be over for Skittles. And here comes the takedown.
Has been defeated. Cherry Chapstick is the winner.
And that's the second quick knockout today for the Knights. After two fights, the Knights are ahead 10-0. We'll be right back with the welterweight class after this quick break. Raptor Rash Cream. For all minor cuts, scrapes, burns, raptor attacks, from the makers of Allosaurus. Available in all park gift shops. And welcome back to Season 1, Week 2 of the FDFL. Starting things off in the welterweight class, we have Grumpy versus Fauntleroy. Grumpy has a 50-point lead in defenses, while Fauntleroy has a 41-point lead in attack. This could be an interesting fight and can go either way.
entered the arena.
Here's Grumpy taking his time coming out onto the field.
Fauntleroy has entered the arena.
Some of you may remember Fauntleroy. He made his first appearance in the Frontier Dinosaur Royale competition in 2018. Fauntleroy is ready to fight, but Grumpy's taking his time getting into position. Fauntleroy starts things off with a body shot, but Grumpy just shakes it off like it was nothing. Grumpy immediately counters with that club tail right to Fauntleroy's head. Fauntleroy looks a little shaken. Fauntleroy seems a little unsure what to do here. He seems to be looking for an opening, but he doesn't want to take another blow to the head by that club tail. Grumpy takes advantage of the situation and lands another solid blow to the head. After that second blow to the head, Fauntleroy is looking a little stunned. Fauntleroy's had enough, and he gives the TKO to the Rockets. Grumpy seems pretty pleased with himself with this victory. Just look at the excitement in his celebration on the field. And that victory puts the Rockets on the board with 3 points. Next up in the welterweight class, we have Uncle Jack versus the Doom Doctor. Just looking at the stats, this may be an easy win for the Rockets.
Uncle Jack has entered the arena.
Looks like Uncle Jack is pretty eager to get this fight started. It's time to see if the Doom Doctor can keep things going for the Knights.
The Doom Doctor has entered the arena.
Uncle Jack's charging straight in, barely giving the Doom Doctor time to get onto the field. Uncle Jack makes the first move with a vicious bite to the face. The Doom Doctor hasn't even regained his footing, and Uncle Jack lands a second blow. And there's the takedown.
Uncle Jack is the winner.
That was one vicious takedown. Uncle Jack's victory brings the Rockets up to 8 points, narrowing the Knights' lead to just 2 points. Next up, we have Fish and Chips versus Watermelon. Fish and Chips does have a significant lead in both attack and defense, so this may be another easy win for the Rockets. And here comes Fish and Chips. There's nothing better than some fish and chips, right?
Fish and Chips has entered the arena. Watermelon has entered the arena.
I think it's pretty clear where the name Watermelon came from. All this food talk's making me a little hungry. Hey, can someone give me a churro? These two are starting things off with a little bit of trash talk. Fish and Chip starts things off with a solid hit to the right shoulder. Watermelon counters with a hit to the face. Neither of these two are letting their guard down as they try and figure out who's going to make the next move. Watermelon lunges in for a quick hit to the head. Fish and Chips immediately returns the favor with a hit of his own. The intensity in this fight is really making me hungry. Both dinos are still eyeing each other up and down, looking for an opening. Fish and Chips finds it, comes in for another attack on Watermelon's shoulder. This may be it for Watermelon. And Fish and Chips comes in for the takedown. Man, that looks cool.
Watermelon has been defeated. Fish and Chips is the winner.
And with that victory, the Rockets pull ahead and are up by 3. So seriously, I'm getting hungry. Where's that churro guy? Going into the last match of the welterweight class, we have PEMDAS up against Mac and Cheese. Both dinos seem pretty evenly matched in defense, but Mac and Cheese has a 25-point lead in attack. That advantage might put the Knights back in the lead.
PEMDAS has entered the arena.
And here's PEMDAS. That name takes me back to high school algebra. Sounds just like my algebra teacher, too.
Mac and Cheese has entered the arena.
Here comes Mac and Cheese. Some people in the league think this species belongs in the heavyweight class due to its size, but for now it sits at the top end of the welterweight class. Both these dinos are charging right in, ready for a fight. Mac and Cheese gets things started with a vicious bite to PEMDAS' right leg. Mac and Cheese comes in for a second bite. PEMDAS is looking a little wobbly. And PEMDAS strikes back with a bite to the shoulder. And PEMDAS goes in for another bite to the shoulder. Both dinosaurs are taking a serious beating. At this point, this fight can go either way. It might come down to whoever makes the next move. Looks like we have a little stare down going on here. Mac and Cheese goes after that back leg again. This is not looking good for PEMDAS. Mac and Cheese goes in for the takedown.
PEMDAS has been defeated. Mac and Cheese is the winner.
The Knights are back in the lead, but it's still too close to call at this point. We'll be right back with the heavyweight class after this quick break.
The Sweatshop. What better way to remember your trip to Jurassic World than with a high-quality tee? Get one with your favorite team logo, or your favorite staff quote, or even one with a worn-out, unfunny cliche. Cheap child labor, tears, and sadness never look so good. Hey, stop crying and get back to work. I said stop crying. We got a quota to meet. Don't make me get the hose.
Welcome back to Season 1, Week 2 of the FDFL. Up next we have the heavyweight class. First up is Carlos Spicy Wiener versus Meatball. Both dinos are pretty evenly matched, with Meatball having a slight lead in defenses. Carlos may have to play aggressively if he wants the win.
Carlos Spicy Wiener has entered the arena.
Looks like Carlos Spicy Wiener is ready for a fight. And here's Meatball sporting some camouflage.
Meatball has entered the arena.
Meatball starts things off with a nasty bite to the nose. And Carlos Spicy Wiener responds with a bite of his own. And Carlos Spicy Wiener comes in immediately for a second hit. Meatball needs to be careful here. One more hit and it could be all over. And Meatball takes a chance and goes in for a hit right to the face. That last hit must have been a little too much for Carlos Spicy Wiener. Looks like he's throwing in the towel.
Rocco is the winner.
And And that puts the Knights ahead by 5 with one fight left to go. And that brings us to the final fight between Mr. Whiskers and Jarvis Fathead. The Rockets have no choice but to go for a KO in this fight, and hopefully they'll have enough team combat in it for me to break a tie.
Mr. Whiskers has entered the arena.
Some of you may remember Mr. Whiskers. He's the winner of the 2018 Frontier Dinosaur Royale competition. If Mr. Whiskers brings the same intensity he had in the Dino Royale, he may be one of the top dinos this season.
Jarvis Fathead has entered the arena.
And here's Jarvis Fathead coming onto the field. A safe move for Jarvis would be to let the Rockets have the TKO and secure the win for the Knights. And Mr. Whiskers gets things started with a bite to the shoulder. And Jarvis Fathead comes in with a bite to the neck. And Mr. Whiskers moves in for a second bite to the shoulder. This would be a good time for Jarvis Fathead to throw in the towel and give the TKO to the Rockets. It's a guaranteed win for the Knights. Jarvis is risking a KO here, and the Rockets may gain enough team combat in it for me to break a tie. And Mr. Whiskers is not letting up on that shoulder as he comes in for a third hit. And Mr. Whiskers is coming in for the take.
Jarvis Fathead has been defeated. Mr. Whiskers is the winner.
That victory ties the score at 18, but it also gives the Rockets more than enough team combat in it for me to break the tie and claim the win. Today's MVP is Mr. Whiskers. His KO against Jarvis Fathead tied the score at 18, but also gave the Rockets enough team combat in it for me to break the tie and secure the win. After week 2, Dr. Wu's Flying Circus is still in first place, followed by the Rockets in second and the Knights in third. Be sure to tune in again for Season 1, Week 3 of the FDFL for the Isla Pena Lightning Bolts versus the Isla Tacaño Taco Tuesdays. Man, I never did get that churro.